2, 1.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. We're coming at you with episode 18, and we are recording on Wednesday, December 5th, 2018. I'm your boy, Doug, and joining me today, we got Warren.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Anita.
Hello.
And today's main topic is going to be K-pop idols and the impact of variety shows. But before we get to that, let's do our weekly housekeeping. So we had a bunch of new releases this week. It's crazy because we're like near the end of the year, but people keep releasing content. I don't know what to tell you.
They gotta stop. But, it's too much.
But back on November 29th, last Thursday, we had Mamamoo with Windflower and the Boyz with No Air. On November 30th, which was Friday, we had Red Velvet with Really Bad Boy. On Monday, December 3rd, we had GOT7 with Miracle. And today, on December 5th, Wednesday, we had Onew with Blue and Laboum with Turn It On. All right. There was way too many things this week again.
Yeah.
Let's start at the top. Mamamoo's Windflower. Your boy Doug is a humongous fan of this song.
What do you like so much about it?
I felt okay. I think the aesthetics of the song were like the main thing for me. I felt it was chill, and I don't know. It felt a little bit like a song they should release in like August towards the end of the summer, but at the same time, I was down for the song. Especially that Wildflower where it gets like soft, that breakdown part. I was like, ooh.
It feels like to me that Mamamoo's like entered a new phase in their career where they've matured on a musical level. Like, don't get me wrong, their previous songs were good, but this like it feels kind of different. It feels more mature. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I agree.
I've also felt that I feel like this new style, people aren't sure what to think about it yet. Like, I would say that their viral presence is a little bit down, or like the hype behind their songs. But it's like, it's hard for people like casuals to get hyped for a slow song. That like inherently.
That's true, yeah.
But I think artistically, they're operating at an extremely high level now.
Yeah.
And one thing so a couple things that I wanted to mention was Hwasa, because she's now such a big variety star, is really at the forefront of their music video now.
Oh, I also noticed that, yeah.
Like it used to be like a Solar focus of everything, but now it's like Hwasa's the main kid, it seems. Additionally, I wanted to commend, I don't know who's doing the production or picking who's singing what parts or who's making these songs, but I feel like Moonbyul as a rapper always raps in a way that fits the style of the song.
I agree, yeah.
Now, I'll point this out with some of the other songs this week, but it was like the only song this week where I felt that the rap section didn't like take me out of the song. Like it fit with what they were doing. And I feel a lot of times in K-pop these days, people are rapping for this because they have rappers, not because it fits the song. And it like takes you out of the song a bit. Yeah. But I always feel that Mamamoo does it correct.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of girl groups out there who there's always like one rapper or two rapper that's dedicated to just rapping. And low-key, I'm not the world's biggest fan of Mamamoo's music. I do like him, but I'm not like the world's like biggest fan of him. But I do think that it's good that they have a rapper in there because it does kind of fit. So I guess I'm just agreeing with you. But yeah.
But I would say definitely though, I like this mature style because honestly, they're not bubblegum pop. Just look at the lineup, right? Yeah. Like look at the people in the group. They're not traditional girl group.
They never were, yeah.
They never were. And I think this is I wouldn't call it directly like the IU switch to being more artistic in her career, but it's something like that. They definitely pivoted to a different style and it seems that they're committed to it.
Yeah. I like the style a lot.
Yeah, I just hope that people recognize how high of a level they're operating on because it's really good music that I think they're putting out lately. But let's move on to the Boyz No Air. Anita, I want your take on this.
Yes. I've been a fan of the group for a while since they debuted. I feel like this genre of music is not my favorite just because I feel like it's very popular nowadays. It has become pretty mainstream. But I don't know, the Boyz are so good at the choreography. Like they're so good. If you look at their practice videos, Um, and recently they uploaded the practice video for one of the performances they did for the end of the year awards. Um, and I don't know, I just feel like I can get past like the music, like the genre that they're doing right now because of the song. Not saying that I hate it, it's just not something that I
I w-
like that
I
much.
would agree.
I also agree.
I
Too
thought that
much.
this was super mainstream sounding,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little too mainstream, but at the same time, I thought the choreography was good because it was doing like a less is more type of
Right.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was subtle, and that's my issue with like I always say with Stray Kids. Like I feel like they're trying too hard with them, and a little bit of NCT
Mm.
lately where they're trying a little bit too much. But I thought
Mm-hmm.
that this song Nowhere by the Boys, I thought they were at like the correct level of with the
Mm-hmm.
intensity. Now
Yeah.
they were formed in I think late 2017, sometime during 2017. So they're fairly
Mm-hmm.
new, but they're pretty
Yeah.
good. I'll keep an eye on
Yeah.
them. Definitely.
I know both of you guys said that the type of music they did with this comeback was kind of mainstream. I would even argue that it's like something we're behind. Like it
Ah.
almost feels like it's like behind the trend by like 4 steps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I can see that.
we
Mhm.
hit the peak with like this kind of music with like Ed Sheeran, you know, The Shape of You, and
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
this is the dance is great. Don't get me wrong, but like the song
Mm-hmm.
itself, I was like, I don't know.
I do feel like they're a tiny bit late to the party, but I'm very interested to see what they're going to do going forward because you can tell that they're pretty good.
Very
in general.
talented, yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on. Okay, this is a controversial
Oh,
song
here
for
we
me.
go.
Red Velvet's Really Bad Boy. Now,
Really bad boy.
I've listened to
Really,
it
really
throughout the
bad
week.
boy.
Since last Friday, I've listened to it probably like 20 times, I would say, at this point. I listen to it a lot. Now, my opinions of this song now are it's a decent Red Velvet song. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad song.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm a little bit let down.
Yeah.
Because of the
I can
name? Is
see
it because of
why.
the name?
I really thought through the marketing and through the name of the song that it was going to be something like Bad Boy, like their original Bad Boy song.
Yeah.
And original Bad Boy is in my like top 3 best Red Velvet songs. But
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm a little let down because of that connection, not because the song is bad.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, it just kind of threw me off because of the theme of the song and like the music video. It didn't quite seem to fit with the time of the
Mhm.
year right now.
It was like a
So it was a
Halloween
little,
song.
yeah. So I feel like it should have been a little bit earlier.
A little
Yeah,
bit
Yeah,
like a
it's a
month.
little
They're a
off.
month late. Come on, let's be honest.
it's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird because Laboum did the same thing, right?
Oh
Number
yeah.
Yeah,
one.
maybe we're missing something. I don't know
And
why these themes.
There
and
was
last
a
year Peekaboo came out in November too. Like they
Hmm.
seem to be a little bit late with the theming. I don't know why.
there was a rumor that like they made it November 30th to give a shout out to Michael Jackson's Thriller, which also came out on the
Mhm.
November 30th. But like,
Oh.
I mean, like that's a bit of a weak
Uh,
tie, don't you think? Like,
I think so too.
I'm also on the similar like perspective with you guys because you know Bad Boy was like this like it was just chill like trap song, and then I was excited, and then I tuned in. I was gonna watch the music video, and then I heard the trumpets come in. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
bom
Mhm.
bom bom, and that I was just like, what is this? What is this?
Couple takeaways for me. I thought Wendy hard carried the song really hard. Wendy's been killing it lately. Although I did not like the random times they have. I don't know if it was her or Joy, like the screaming bits in there.
Oh, I love the
couldn't-
Yeah.
screaming bits. I'm sorry, that's the only part I like.
You like the screaming bits? I don't like the screaming bits.
Who's done screaming in K-pop like that? You know,
I know.
experimental. I
But-
like that shit. Come on.
I did think the build up to the chorus was incredible, right? But then once the chorus hit, I was like, oh, that's it.
Yeah, the repetition.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I wanna give a shout out to the stylist decision to make Irene's hair wavy. I
Oh,
thought that
shouts
was
out.
I thought that was ridiculous. Though, like in a good way. I thought it was incredible because you know your boy's a huge Irene fan. You know she got like an A+ face. You know, visual top tier. I thought Irene's visuals were off. I actually thought all of them looked incredible in this
Yeah,
video.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, for me, this is like about the level of Power Up, if not like one tiny bit, a little bit lower than Power Up. I'm still hoping, like it's still they're operating at an extremely high level because it's SM and Red Velvet's a professional. But I'm hoping in 2019 they could come back with some bangers again, like absolute bangers. All right, You got anything else to say, Warren, or should I move on?
I was agreeing.
Okay, but let's move on to GOT7's Miracle now.
Yes.
I like this song.
So nice.
I thought it was a huge change up from their normal stuff. Now, this is about the point where I say my question from this song was: is rap always necessary in a song?
No, stop!
Like, I was really engaged on this ballad thing. I thought the instrumentals and the harmonies were great. The vocals were off the charts. And then they started with the Jackson Bam Bam raps things, right? Now, I thought that Bam Bam throughout the song was more with the theme. But I thought when Jackson came in with his rap at the beginning, I was like, wow, this really just took me out of the song here. I don't know how I feel because I really like the song as a whole, but I do think that sometimes rapping isn't necessary in songs, even though you got rappers.
I feel like it's a JYP trend. Like,
I agree. Also with Twice, sometimes they don't need to rap on the songs.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? Remember when Big Bang did what is it? Nan donaga da 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 da. What's that Big Bang song? The one where they're walking around blowing up cars.
Blue?
No. It was before Blue. No. Shit. Anyways, Big Bang does like slow songs as well, right? They do like slow ballads. And not always is there a rap.
Right.
And then we have JYP over here, where every song they do, there's gotta be a rap if there's a rapper in the group. I'm just like, can't we have them like do something?
Loser? Was that the song?
No, this was all before Loser. It was from their.
All right. Well, I'm gonna talk a bit more. You have to find that song now because I'm curious. So that's your job for the next 2 minutes. But
Love Song.
Love Song? Oh, okay. Okay, I get what you're saying now.
Actually,
I prefer their last release, Lullaby, to this, though.
Really?
I thought Lullaby's a hit, like a A tier banger.
I like it, but I don't know. I feel there was something about this song that I don't know. For some reason, it made me think old school songs, like old school music of like winter time, like when the boy groups do like the one Christmas like winter song.
Yeah. I would say for GOT7, they also probably don't feel that this is like a major comeback.
Right,
you know what I mean? As long as you agree with that statement, then I'm completely okay with this because it is good that I felt out of all the songs this week, this fit the time of the year the best though.
Yes,
it was most fitting.
Yeah, this is a turns out this is a repackage of the previous album. So.
Okay, see that makes sense. And I like when groups take risks and go a little out of the box, and I will commend GOT7 for that. Also, underrated vocal line. That's my last takeaway.
Yes.
Okay, Anita, Onew with Blue. What do you think?
I feel like I saw the teaser before it came out, and I kind of was already prepared for it to be like not very upbeat, so it was gonna be pretty emotional for tone. But I don't know, I guess I wasn't really prepared for how cinematic or like it seemed a lot like a movie while I was watching it and hearing it. Like the music itself, like the instruments and everything, just made it seem very, very dramatic. I liked it because I think it really placed a lot of emphasis on Onew's voice. I feel like for the first time, wow, like his voice is really powerful and it sounds very different than when he's with SHINee and the type of songs that SHINee usually does.
I agree. I didn't know what to expect because personally, I don't know Onew that well. I know he's in SHINee, I know that, but I don't know like the type of music he likes or his style. I was impressed with the voice straight up.
Right.
I did not expect that to come out of him. I was like, what the hell? And then I thought the tone was amazing. I also thought the instrumental of that song was very good.
Yeah.
And my notes here was, it sounds like an OST. That was my major thing.
It almost felt like a musical, to be honest.
I thought it was like a musical too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has background on that. He's done musicals before. A lot of like the Shiny concerts, his solo songs were opera. So he did.
Yeah.
Wait, operas aren't musicals.
I don't remember that now. No, but he like did like that performance of like vocal performance plays or like where that was the main. I don't know. It didn't seem that out of place for me, knowing like he had that in the background.
Okay.
I like this, but it was a little out of the box. Would you agree with that, Anita?
Yeah.
It wasn't like an idol song at all. It was like just a straight up ballad singer, if anything, right?
Straight up R&B.
You know, is this his first like major thing as a solo artist?
Yeah.
I mean, he's had like solo songs, but they were always like collaborations with other people.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, but so obviously the rumors are he's gonna go to the army now, and I'm very interested to see what he does once he comes back. But shout out to him.
Isn't he going on 5 days?
I think so.
Oh shit, have fun.
But the last song is Laboum's "Turn It On." Now, you remember their last song from earlier this year, "Between Us," that I was a huge fan of, right?
Right.
This one, not so much.
Yeah.
Now, they're hard committed to like the Girls' Day sexy theme, right? It seems.
Yeah.
And their main singer Soyeon, I thought, is a really good underrated vocalist in K-pop. Now, a couple things for me: the music video and the song made no connection, other than the zombie
really
guy.
Confused.
I was expecting some kind of badass stuff once I saw the intro, but it just didn't maintain that.
Yeah, I really don't know what to say. I wasn't a really fan of the song. I wasn't really a fan of the people there. Not a fan of the concept. Not a fan of the music video. Not a fan of the choreo. Just everything kind of felt meh. I'll be honest. All
right, I won't go that far. I thought the song was okay. I just don't think it was anything super special. Now, I felt like my feelings of the song and the music video it all felt very dated. Like.
That's the problem.
Now, in terms like even the cinematography, they just had like straight up close-ups for most of the song. Like I was watching it, and I was like, "There's not much going on. They just showing whoever's singing like with a really closed-in shot."
I mean, they don't have a lot of budget here. They can't really, do much with the limited amount.
It really seems like, not to really get into Laboum like dynamics and economics, but it seems like they have not really recovered from the Yulhee scandal that well.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, it's low key. If you do video work, you can kind of tell like it's not really high budget here. Like especially I saw the music video right after I saw Miracle and then Blue.
Oh.
And then it was like like it was heavily emphasizable how little money went into this. It was kind of sad.
Yeah, I wrote that. I don't think it was like I don't think it's a song that's going to lower their stock that much, but it's definitely not one that's going to raise it. It's about the level one would expect.
Right.
It's like a maintenance single, like they're still around.
It's unfortunate because like they're pretty talented and they could be doing better stuff if the company would get them better stuff. And it's like it's so strange to look at like Laboum view counts on their songs because they're like hella low, and they should be like a lot higher. But I don't know what to say because I hope in 2019 the company like makes one last shot to make it big. Because if they can't come out with a banger in like the next year or so, it's not looking that good for them. And I think that's dumb. It seems like there was some hype behind Soyul for a while. Is that her name? Am I getting that completely wrong? Oh my goodness. What's the main girl's name? Solbin. Oh my god. The girl who looks like Duckson.
Yeah.
She had a lot of hype for a while until the scandal happened with like Yuli, and now it seems like their momentum is like really stagnated, which is completely unfortunate.
Wasn't there another scandal where they were like accused for like the label buying albums. Like
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
associated with that, and then
Yeah.
they put them on the unit, which didn't work out that well, even though
Mhm.
Z made the final team, but they
Yeah.
just seem to be a little bit of a mess, and they have to figure it out themselves.
yeah, it's just a series
Good luck to
of
them.
big problems.
All right, let's move on to our show winners then. All right, Wanna One Spring Breeze won almost everything,
Yep.
Wow.
right?
Oh wow.
Yep.
They won 6 awards this week, bringing their total to 7 for Spring Breeze. That's incredible.
Congrats. Congrats,
Yeah.
Wannables.
I know it's like their last major release, and like Wannables, man, the fan support's clearly there, right?
Go hard.
The only other
Mhm.
person who won anything was Jenny won Inkigayo last Sunday for solo, bringing her win total to 2. So she did win one of the major ones, though.
Yeah.
And for her first solo song, that's pretty good to win 2 awards.
It's a little lacking compared to Blackpink songs, I think. But I mean,
That's to be expected, I would say, though,
Yeah.
because I would say because of the kind of issues we had with her performance and like her performance intensity that we mentioned last week.
Mhm.
intensity. Yeah.
Yeah, but like we're gonna talk more about Blackpink in the news, so let's move on from this for now. So our main topic this week is going to be K-pop idols and the impact of variety. Now, to start off, I think a lot of the times we get into K-pop for the music, right? And then we stick around because of our like of the actual artists, the kids, right? That like I always mention. I think variety is one of the major components of a K-pop group.
Right. Mhm.
Now, variety shows are probably the most important way that you get to actually learn about the personalities of the kids in a certain group.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it honestly can make or break careers. Like
Yeah. Mhm.
now, I broke down variety shows into a couple different levels. I think the most important variety type of show is like the major shows in Korea when you like guest on them. I'm talking like your Running Mans, your Knowing Brothers. I did this last week. I keep pluralizing all these things for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Running Man, Knowing Bros, Ilbaki, Let's Eat Together, and even like the Idol Star athletic competitions, right? You're like mainstream
Mhm.
variety shows that idols sometimes come out on, because that's the way to attract casuals to become your fan.
Wait, what's Let's Eat Dinner Together?
That's the Kangho-dong thing.
Oh, the one they walk around Seoul and just
Yes.
ask people to eat. Oh,
I don't know the Korean name off the top of my head.
한
but
끼
that's
줍쇼.
that one.
Yeah.
That's that show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think number one, it's extremely hard to get on those shows, right? Because they're like the major network, major variety shows. But when you do get on those shows, you better do something ridiculous in order to get the Korean netizens buzzing about you, because
Mhm.
that's your one opportunity when casuals get to see you, right?
Right.
Now, I think a great example of this was Jenny on Running Man recently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because there was an episode, it was near like Halloween, if I remember correctly, and they were going through like a haunted house type of thing. And then she was really funny because she was claiming how like unafraid she was going to be. She's like, I'm brave, I got this. And then they went in there and she melted, and she was literally a puppy. And she blew up. She trended #1 on Naver, and they even invited her back. And now she's like on like all these variety shows now.
Mhm.
And I think she gained a ton of fans because of that.
Yeah.
Now, those are your main shows. Now, you got to get lucky to get on those, but I think that's the main place where you can make an impact of variety. Because
Mhm.
when you're releasing your own idol-specific stuff, so I'm talking like V Live and your own personal YouTube channel, it's really only the diehards who are watching that kind of content.
Yeah. The fans that are already
I
fans.
mean, yeah, that's basically
Yeah.
fan service at that point.
Like, okay, so with me and Eyes One, right? There was the variety show Eyes Want You. If you're not an Eyes One fan, you're probably not watching that. Like, straight up. Now, I also think the personal content though is a great like archive for new people who are getting into your group.
Mhm.
Now, for instance, I became a fan of Fromis9 in the past like half a year, right?
Mhm.
Now, when I decided that, Fromis9's interesting, I would like to know what they're like, I watched their entire variety show.
Yeah. You go back.
You go back and watch all of that. And I think it's very critical because variety show is probably the only way where you get to show your personality, your
Yeah.
your talents, that kind of thing.
Right.
Now,
I mean, no, if I can add on to that a little bit, here's the thing, right? Especially with the case of Fromis 9 and Eyes 1, they did varieties right before they debuted, like right after the audition show was over, right? Like doing stuff like that, doing stuff like that is kind of expensive, and I feel like a lot of companies don't think it's essential, but it's like really essential because like you're giving content for fans to be excited about,
Yeah.
and it like it builds like a fan base from the get go. Like that's why that like, doing stuff like this is kind of important, and like that's why Doug is still a wise one. Like
Right.
I did it.
Wiz one, bro.
I'm sorry, Wiz one. Isn't it wise one?
No, it's Wiz one because it's like wizard, straight up.
What the fuck?
I'm serious, dude.
Really?
It's like
You're a wizard.
You're a
said-
wizard,
they said
Douglas.
Because they said masul and stuff when they're describing it, which means like magic, like literally wizard.
Holy, all right. Look, here's the point I'm trying to get at. I didn't watch Eyes One Shoe, right? I didn't watch Eyes One Shoe. I still like Eyes One, but like I wouldn't describe myself as an Eyes One fan or a Wiz one. But like right after Produce, I would have said that I was a fan. Like if I like, see like not watching that show, having that show not be there or there, like makes a big difference in how big your fandom is gonna be.
I think variety plays such a big point because it's like, what do you like? The average group releases 2 songs a year, right?
Yeah, 2, 3, yeah.
And what is the promotional period like? 3 weeks, 4 weeks at the most.
Yeah, month.
So if I'm thinking about that, it's like I become a fan of the group because of the music, right? But if I don't have an emotional attachment to the members of the group,
Yeah.
I will only become a casual and only wait for the music.
Yeah, I definitely feel like variety kind of seals the deal for the fans. Like once you get to know the personalities of the members, it's kind of like they create a connection with the fans, seeing them do these tasks and activities on television. And I think like for me also, like my own experience, I think that's kind of what sets K-pop artists apart from like other musicians and artists in general, because you get to see them in this environment.
Yep. Sometimes I watch like a show like Running Man, and let's say because I think last week they had Red Velvet on, they had Irene and Joy on, and they were doing some ridiculous stuff as they always do. And I was like, Justin Bieber would never be doing this. Like that's what I was thinking. They could not pay Taylor Swift enough money to do the stuff they're doing. But these Korean kids realize that it's such a big opportunity to gain fans and exposure that they're like, if they say like, jump into a bucket, like pour a bucket of flour on your head, they're gonna do it. Like, because it's such a big opportunity because something funny might happen. And that's something special about the K-pop scene in general, is because the kids realize that in order to maintain or gain popularity, you got to do something crazy.
Yeah, I think it's also like it's a part of how there's so many groups in the industry. So the one way to stand out is through these shows, like by how you act and if you're funny, how you interact.
Yeah, because there are your like idol specific shows like Idol Room and Weekly Idol, but the only people really watching them are like on a so not many people watch those type of shows on a week-to-week basis, watching it every week. They normally just watch when when your favorite group or a group you like is on the show, right?
Right.
Like if there's like if Eyes One's on it, I'm gonna watch it. But let's say like I don't want to alienate a group here, but okay, so y'all know that I like girl groups. If 101's on one of those shows, it's gonna take something like major to get me to watch it. Like straight up.
See, that's the problem with that's actually the double-sided sword of having K-pop idols on varieties, because you all know this, but I'm a big Annoying Bros fan. I pretty much watch it every week, and I follow how the community reacts when reacts to different guests, and usually they react very negatively when there's an idol. Usually, if when like Red Velvet's a big exception because Red Velvet tends to be very funny, but the weeks where there was BTS or the weeks where there was EXO, it it's just not the same. It's just not the same. Partially,
Right.
not simply because these idols are willing to do less or so, but like more or less because the fixed members that are a part of the show don't want to be as aggressive.
Yep.
They would be with
Yeah,
they normally would
yeah.
be because the fans tend to sometimes react very negatively to those comments. And that's why a lot of the casuals or a lot of non K-pop fans who watch variety in general are like, there's an idol this week. That's not going to be funny.
Yeah, it seems like the idols who are willing to take risks on those shows or say something controversial are the ones that get popular.
Yeah.
And it's like a tool you can use. No, okay. Like, how do I put it? So, let's see. Oh man, I can't even think of any examples right now. But let's say you go on these shows, right? And it's just tough because I think there's two sides of it. So the cast members on Knowing Bros can't be as inflammatory as they normally are, right?
Yeah.
Because they're gonna get hate. But at the same time, the idols
Backlash.
can't go hard either because they have an image to maintain too. So it's just this weird
Limbo.
dynamic going on, and it kind of ruins it a little bit sometimes. But I want to talk about now becoming a fixed member on a variety show, because that is like the golden ticket to success if the show is good. Now,
Right.
the example I want to give out right now is Pio and Songmino on Journey to the New West right now.
Hey,
Because
Tata
before either of them were on the show, all I knew was Mino was the guy from Winner who was on Show Me the Money, right? And I barely knew anything about Pio. But now that they're on the show and they're willing to take risks and completely buy in and throw out their preconceived idol images, it's skyrocketed their popularity. Because the show was funny and they're not acting like idols, they're acting like they're normal kids and their true personalities are showing. And it's literally made them superstars because of it. And I think it's great for Pio because before he started making headway into variety shows, he was really seen as just one of the members of Block B and one of, honestly, for casuals, one of Zico's sidekicks, right? But it seems that he's really found his niche now as a variety star, and I think it's great for him.
I think for the idols that get to be in shows for a period of time, so they become fixed members, I think it kind of to not have to think about acting like an idol because they're expected to be in this show for an extended period of time. So I don't know, I feel like it's easier for them to not be considered an idol because of that. But when they're just guests, it's more like, hey, you're just doing this because you're promoting a song or something. So it's not seen as okay.
Okay, so if I'm gonna go back a while. Invincible Youth, Chunchun Bulpe,
Holy shit,
which was a variety show. I think it was 6 or 7 girl idols on a farm. Now that concept seems a little foreign and a little weird, but for some reason it worked and it was incredible. There was something about them as fixed members and the situation they put them in that really humanized them as people and not just idols for me.
Yeah.
And I think other examples of that was the other kind of female collaboration, the show Heroes, which is also really old at this point. That had IU, Yuina, who's not an idol. It had Jiyeon from Tiara.
Oh, Young Hogol. That's the creator name, I think. Holy
that was
shit,
another
that's
pretty
old.
big show, and it really showed me that idols can be humans, not just idols. It's not just about the show business.
If I can give more of a recent example that it's not similar as a show, but did a similar thing. 효린의 민박집, Lihuri's hotel room.
Yeah.
IU was on it.
Right.
And she was basically the part-time worker that would work at Lihuri's house, and that really showed how much of a human IU is behind all the artist shit. And I really witnessed how 180 degrees her public image went from being this pervert into just another girl in her 20s. It's crazy.
That show cemented me as IU as like one of my favorite people in K-pop because
Mm-hmm.
I had only seen her as like IU the singer, IU the artist, but now it's like Ijiun the person. It's a completely different thing. And you, uh,
IU, the girl who can't dress for shit, you know, like.
my issues with variety also is, especially young variety, like younger idols who are trying to make a name for themselves, is so there's a thing in the idol world called gaingi, which is like your personal talent.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, for some reason, it seems that these days idols need to have specific talents. Like, can you imitate someone, or can you
Yeah.
like make a funny sound effect, or can you imitate an animal? Those type of things. I get why they do it because it's something memorable, but at the same time, I find it very cringy that they make them do stuff like that.
Depends on what they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, or making every member do eggyo back to back to back to back to back.
Oh god, I hate it when they do that.
Oh, it's like, it seems like that's like part of them trying to maintain this idol image, right? Like it's okay to not have to be cutesy. Like you don't have to be cutesy all the time, or you don't have to be able to imitate like a rhinoceros or something, right?
Orangutan.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
so many orangutans out there.
So
Stop.
right now, Kim Min-ju in IZ*ONE keeps doing this like the monkey with the symbols thing. Oh my god, I want to die every time she does it.
Wait, what do you mean monkey with the symbols? Like the emoji? Or what do you mean?
No, do you know what I'm talking about, Anita? There's like a
Yeah,
wind-up
yeah.
monkey who bashes symbols together and make noises, like a monkey.
Yeah, that pops up of a box or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And she does that on every show she's on. And I'm like, please stop. Please stop. And I know she's just doing it because it's memorable, but at the same time, I'm like, don't do it. Please.
Here's the thing, right? I'm 21. You know, I was born in 1997. I realized that a lot of the boy group members are like around my age.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it would, cause I know how Korean boys act when they're my age. You know,
Yeah.
like they've got to fucking hate themselves backstage. Like I can never imagine me doing that and then going back home just like realizing what the fuck I've just done on camera for the whole world to see. Like,
It's definitely a mixed sword because it's like, I feel like over the past maybe couple of years, the stakes have been raised on variety shows. Like people feel the need to do more and more ridiculous things. Like because it's like, how many impressions can people do, right? It seems to be getting crazier and crazier. But I guess I'm conflicted because like you gotta stand out somehow, right?
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
But at the same time, I feel kind of bad that that's what it's gone to at this point.
Also, here's the thing, right? I feel like you gotta careful not to take it too far. I don't remember when it was. It was a long time ago. But there's a show called Real Men.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a show where you know you send a bunch of idols, to the army, and not idols, but like you know celebrities, and sometimes there's idols, and I don't remember who, but I think it was some idol, and he came in speaking in this awkward accent and like trying to rap. He was like, oh, hip hop is my life, you know, and he was like speaking like he has like a strong accent, and it was very cringy, like you know like. Some idols come in with like this character, you know, and it's too over the far. It's not maintainable, you know. Like you're going to the army, you can't say what's up to your superiors all the fucking time.
I think the best example of a fake persona where everyone knows it's fake, but it's like that's what they're doing is Gyuri from Kara. She had like the princess moniker going for like 5 years straight.
Oh no,
like,
no, that's not the princess. She was a female goddess.
Oh yeah.
Yoshin.
She was arrogant on purpose, and it was so obvious that it was just an act. But she like committed to it for like 5 years straight, and I died every time it happened.
Yo, I used to listen to a radio. There was like a whole like section of the radio where like she would just keep saying she's a goddess, and it was the fucking funniest shit ever.
It was funny at the beginning, but at a certain point, I felt very bad for her that she was like stuck with that image. And it seems that sometimes the companies push these type of images onto the idols, where it's not natural. And I think over time, it's very obvious when when an idol is acting versus it's who they are, because I think when you act yourself, a lot of the times it's more it's very obvious and it's more endearing when you just act like yourself. But I want to say variety is interesting because a lot of the times you're not going to invite the whole group, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're going to invite like the main kid. I think a great example of this is Sejong from Gugudan. She's the one who gets invited onto these variety shows.
Yeah.
I am happy that the companies now are arguing to, if let's say like you're gonna get Sejong, okay, she'll appear, but you have to bring someone else, like another kid has to come with her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's smart that the companies are doing that, but at the same time, it's like it's unfortunate that it's like that. But that's an issue more of uneven popularity because it is definitely a blessing to get on variety shows because there ain't that many shows.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems that's the easiest way to become viral overall. Now, Warren, do you like? Let's say like, if Knowing Bros has 5 guy groups in a row, do you get pissed?
Yes. Not because if some of them are funny, I'm whatever. Like, what's the what's the group? It's Infinite.
Sujong. No, Sujong.
Sujong? I forget their name, but
The guy who kept getting hit in the balls.
Yeah,
was
that
so
fucking
funny.
that episode was legendary. Not like if they're funny, I'm like whatever. But like the problem is, I don't want to create a stereotype. But the problem is, that most guy groups aren't funny. Same for girl groups as well.
I'm sorry, his name is Songjong.
Songjong.
That's his name.
Yeah, I was like, Sojong's an actor in his 50s. Like, what the fuck are you
But,
talking
okay,
about?
I agree. That was probably one of the best episodes of Knowing Bros of all time
Oh.
because he's naturally a little feminine and unathletic, right? So they were trying to do a thing where they were trying to kick a soccer ball up and they had to head the ball back to the guy throwing it to them, and it just hit him in the male area like 3 times in a row. And it was so funny, and it made him like an overnight celebrity because it was just hilarious.
Now, in the scope of Knowing Bros, I feel like they found the solution. Because recently they've been doing, they would bring in a couple idols mixed with a couple like random people,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Like
kind of
actors,
works. That kind of
generally.
works. Yeah, there was a point where like Taeyong from 우주소녀 was on with a bunch of like like other female artists, and that was fine.
Mm-hmm.
However, if I see like 101 after BTS, after EXO, after like all these major guy groups, I'm gonna get tired.
There is definitely though a skill to variety shows, like being good on
Yeah.
variety.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so obviously I've been following IZ*ONE lately, and they've been on some variety shows, and then Twice was on Knowing Bros a couple weeks ago, right?
Mm.
The skill, like Twice, is at this point so good on variety that it's very apparent when you compare them to other groups.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know. There was just something about the way they answered the questions, the way they reacted. It's definitely a learned thing because
Right.
IZ*ONE's new, and these kids they've just become celebrities, and they've never done variety show, and they just seemed a little lost in the sauce. Like they didn't get it.
Did you just say lost in the sauce?
They were lost in the sauce because
What
they
is
gotta
this?
fake they gotta fake it till they make it. You know.
Mm, yeah.
What
yeah.
varieties have they been on? Like major ones. I know they were on Idol Room and Idol.
Idol Room, Weekly Idol, and
Yeah.
then their own thing pretty much are the main ones. But those are like the starting points for this type of stuff. Because I
Mhm.
definitely foresee them being on a major show in the next year. I think that's more than likely. But hopefully over time they get better at it. And I think it really just comes down to seizing the opportunities you're given, because they will put not super top tier variety idols on variety shows, and I think you really just gotta make the most out of it. But you gotta make the most out of it, but you can't come off fake. So there is an art to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like variety shows are the main way I get to know idols, and I think it's how most people get to
Same.
know idols.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still, I don't know if there's like a real concrete conclusion to this, but it's just it's an unfortunate part of the system, I would say.
If I can say one wish,
Mhm.
I wish the fans would be a little less aggressive when like,
Yeah,
they're
I
on
agree.
varieties, and like people make fun of each other. Like
It's a show at the end of the day, so I feel like, yeah.
What do you mean by less aggressive? Like the netizens reacting to idols on shows, or
like
the actual idols themselves?
no, I mean like if let's say for example, Lee Soo-gun made fun of Idol A on Loy Bros.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot of the netizens would be like, oh, like I don't like that. That's too aggressive. That kind of stuff. I hope they would tone down on that a little bit. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree, because as you're going to someone else's house, so you have to play by their rules.
Yeah.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the times it's like knowing bros I wouldn't call it a harsh environment, but it's like you're gonna get toasted a little, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes when people just watch knowing bros because their favorite idols are on the show, they have to understand that that's how that show works, and to
Right.
not judge what happens based on how your idol is normally treated, but I think you have to judge it based on what happens generally on the show.
Yeah.
So that's another aspect of it. But
I mean, I think there's also I mentioned this because I'm reminded of like controversies where people say like, oh, the host was like overly mean, or like
mhm.
they were too forceful and it was obvious that the artist was uncomfortable. I think this came up with twice in a variety show too. I feel like there are cases where it does seem to go a little far, but I
Mhm.
think majority of the time, like the hosts don't really mean to be
Mm.
like intrusive or mean towards the artist.
Yeah,
So
because there's two things, right? Number one, it's like the fixed members of the major variety shows, they're trying to get some ratings, right?
yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
But number two, they're also experimenting with things because they got to make the guests look good too, because that's the whole point of
Hmm.
having guests on the show. Now, it might not always work out the way they want, but it's like they
Hmm.
are acting in the best interests of the idol. Like if they wouldn't actively trash anyone, they're just trying to get some ratings and trying to make
Right.
some content here. No, I agree. It's a slippery. It's a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
There's a certain level of aggressiveness and a certain level of like jokes that really you got to get the balance perfect in order to get a hit moment on a variety show.
Yeah.
it's a
Mhm.
difficult medium to find.
You know who's
Yeah.
like, for example, Henry on Real Men.
Oh, that
No one
shows.
thought that was
shows-
going to be something. No one thought that was going to work, but it was probably one of the most legendary things to ever happen on a variety show. Next slice. Yeah. That's just everything working out. You had the perfect person. You had a little bit of a language barrier, like cultural exchange going on,
Mhm.
and Henry's a little weird, and no one knew that before, and it was just magic. So I wouldn't say variety shows ever really take away from the artist. I would say it's most of the time a net positive, and
Mhm.
at the end of the day, you just got to take your opportunities and seize them. So I think that's a good point to end this. All right, let's move on to news. There's an absolute enormous amount of news this week.
Oh my
but
god, these
let's
are
try
a
to
lot
get
of
through it.
bullets.
First one. This one we don't really got to talk about. Blackpink Jennie becomes the first female K-pop solo artist to top Billboard's World Digital Song Sales chart.
Hey,
Shout out to
congrats.
Jennie.
Yeah.
In the face of controversy, she's killing it.
Yeah.
Next one. Mark announces his graduation date from NCT Dream.
Aw.
So NCT Dream follows like a graduation system where they graduate from the unit after reaching the Korean age of 20 or 19 internationally. He's reached that age, therefore he got to graduate. It's unfortunate though. Next one. IU gives twice expensive gifts for being guests at her concert.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
How
She
expensive?
gave them
Huh.
2 rings from Gucci
What?
and an iPhone 10
What?
or a pair of Chanel shoes if they already had an iPhone. Each kid.
What?
Each person?
So she gave out apparently an average of $2,000 worth of stuff to each kid.
Oh,
Wow.
I didn't even know Gucci made rings.
Exactly. But yo, shout out to IU for being the best sunbae ever.
Shit, damn.
Next one. This is some shade. Happy Face
Oh.
Entertainment, who's in an ongoing legal case with YG over the resulting Mix 9 group, asks YG if they will also cancel the debut of YG Treasure Box in their second court trial.
Oh.
So during the trial, the Happy Face lawyer said, "We want to ask if they will also cancel the debut of the group coming from YG Treasure Box if the show doesn't do well."
Shit. Shit.
But so they threw some shade. But the show YG Treasure Box reached 25 million viewers in the first 3 episodes. So seems to be doing.
Fucking savage.
Next one. IZ*ONE fans are angry at Sakura and Nako's participation in HKT48's concert.
Yeah.
So this is more. They're outraged not because they're in the concert, but they're worried about things going forward because IOI and a little bit of One had issues where because the kids are all from different companies, if they start letting them do promotions with their home companies, what happens to the group as a whole? That's the concern.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, this was kind of a big deal in the IZ*ONE community. The fan cafe was a mess, and it eventually led to Off the Record coming out and saying like they didn't say this was a one-time deal, but they tried to like quell the storm. But then today, the 3 Japanese members performed with AKB at one of their events.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
We'll have to see what happens.
Wait,
and next,
what random event? Like a concert or like?
No, it's an end of the year show. It's an award show, I think.
All right.
And next week they have a collaboration stage with a bunch of IZ*ONE as a collaboration stage with a bunch of Japanese groups. So we'll see what happens going forward. As an IZ*ONE fan, I understand that these kids have prior obligations, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm worried for a situation like IOI where the kids are being pulled in a lot of directions and it hurts the group overall. But we'll just have to see what happens going forward. And I trust at this point, Off the Record will do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last one. Well, second to last one. JYJ's Junsu cries talking about how he can't go on TV and reveals he thought about quitting. So here's some quotes. It's been amazing that I have teenage fans because now that I think of it, I haven't been on broadcast for about 7 to 8 years and I went to military for 2 years. So I haven't been on TV for about 9 years in total.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
As we talked about in a past episode, JYJ's pretty much been blacklisted from all major TV networks, so it's been a struggle for them. He also said, I feel like I'm not a celebrity because I'm never on TV. And he thanked reporters for continuing to cover the group. And I wondered if I'm truly a celebrity when I don't even appear on the major channels.
Mm-hmm.
And his last concern was like, he was more or less voicing his concern that he can't even perform his own songs on TV. And what are you supposed to do with that? This is a tough issue because I think the blacklisting is completely uncalled for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like 9 years at this point. Something's got to give.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of sad. Yeah, I mean,
at this point, there's not much they can do about it because it's been going on for so long, and I doubt things will change. But I do feel that the industry as a whole needs to change because this kind of blacklisting is terrible.
Well, that's what Happy Face is trying to do. So
yeah.
Hope.
But last one. So the Melon Music Awards happened, and I'm just going to go through the main winners. So Artist of the Year Daesang went to BTS, expected. Record of the Year Daesang went to Onew. Album of the Year Daesang went to BTS Love Yourself Tear.
Mm-hmm.
Best Song of the Year, I think well-deserved, went to Icon's Love Scenario. Happy for them. New Artist of the Year Male went to the Boyz. New Artist of the Year Female went to Yeoja Idol. And top 10, which are more just like Excellency Awards, went to Icon, Budbaigan Sachungi, BTS, B2B, Mamamoo, Onew, EXO, Twice, Blackpink, and A-Pink.
That's surprising.
Good.
What are you surprised about?
I'm surprised to see Budbaigan Sachungi still on the list because they're not as popular as they used to be in 2017.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they had a little bit of a down year, but I guess well, they still do very well domestically.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, we got our upcoming releases. So on December 6th, Thursday, Uptension's coming back. On December 10th, Monday, Day 6. I'm hyped for that.
Yay.
And on December 11th, Tuesday, Chansup from B2B is coming out with his first Korean solo album.
Did he have a non-Korean solo album?
Yeah, he had a Japanese album.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I didn't know.
So I'm excited for that because I'm pretty into B2B these days. Do we got anything else? So let me see. IZ*ONE continues to support them, everyone. We got the Japanese comeback coming sometime, and then the Korean one probably in the spring. I don't know. That's all I really got. But this has been
Come back
SojuTalk,
already.
your weekly shout out K-pop. I'm Doug, and I'd like to thank Warren and Anita for joining me. Please subscribe to our podcast on YouTube. Download us on iTunes and Spotify, and pretty much anywhere else you could find pretty much anywhere else you can find podcasts. And next week we will be talking about our wish list for 2019. So that should be a cool topic.
Hey.
So see you everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.